Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you guys. This is another one that was requested from Swagkage, and it's, I believe, his most recent video called How Strong Was Kakashi with Both Sharingan. Now, I am very curious to hear what he has to say. Now, I think a lot of us, just by reading the manga, have pretty much already determined that Kakashi was pretty damn strong considering what we've seen him do for the limited amount of time that he had them. But let's just go ahead and find out exactly how strong he is. Let me just check the volume. There we go. Let me just get my headphones real quick. Alright. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch the video and hear what Swag has to say on this.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Swagkage here, and today we're going to be talking about something that I think is fairly interesting, and that's the power of Kakashi with two Sharingan, often referred to as DMS Kakashi. Now, just for the sake of total clarity, the version of Kakashi I'm talking about is from chapters 688 and 689. This Kakashi had two Sharingan, could manifest the perfect Susanoo, and played an active role in the defeat of Kaguya. I wanted to make this video because while I've already talked about Kakashi in the past, I've never extensively talked about this version of him, and recently I've noticed a lot of people don't seem to understand just how powerful he was at this point. I think it's fairly common for people to believe he'd lose to somebody like Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito, but I've also run into people who believe that Madara, Hashirama, and in some cases even members of the Akatsuki are stronger than him.
Well, I mean, I do think Jubito would still beat Kakashi even with the dual Mangekyo Sharingan, because I think a lot of people, I think we talked about this in the video that he did where I think it was him, and I can't remember if it was he did the video with someone else or if it was just him, where they talked about how strong Ten Tails Obito is. But Ten Tails Obito is pretty damn strong, and I do feel like he's another character that falls into the list of characters by the Naruto fandom that gets vastly underestimated as to just how strong they actually are. And I think it mostly stems from them just not liking Obito as a character, which, look, if you don't like the character, that's fine, I understand, but don't let that play into the the discussion of just how strong a character is. Like, I remember the adult Sakura versus Madara video. A lot of people, I talked about how a lot of people don't believe that Sakura would, beat Madara, which I don't think she'd beat him either, if I'm being honest. But I think a lot of people have trouble believing that she could actually win, because it mostly stems from them just not liking Sakura as a character, which again I get, but that has nothing to do with the discussion. You see what I mean? See, here's the thing. Like he said, Madara, Hashirama, and Pain. Listen. These two are strong. I do feel like Hashirama would put up a pretty good fight. But if I'm being honest, Pain is kind of a hard sell for me. Edo Madara, I don't know. I mean, Edo Madara does have the Rinnegan, and he does have access to wood style, so that does make him pretty damn broken. Not to mention he has like infinite regen and an infinite supply of chakra, so there are a lot of things that he does have in his advantage, but again, I feel like, a lot of people do kind of underestimate just how strong Kakashi was when he had the two Sharingan that was given to him by Obito in a manner that a lot of people do feel like is a bit ass-pullish, for being honest. Like, when it happened, I think I remember a lot of people going, wait, what? Like, what the hell just happened? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's continue.
Blunt, none of these characters are on Kakashi's level. As a matter of fact, at this point, it's possible to argue that he was stronger than both Naruto and Sasuke. Now, obviously, he only had this power up for a...
I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, again, you know what? I want to wait to hear his arguments first, because Naruto and Sasuke at that point were pretty damn busted. Like, especially Naruto. A lot of people forget this, but Naruto... hold on, let me go back to illustrate. A lot of people forget that this version of Naruto had something that even the adult version of Naruto didn't have. Now, I still think adult Naruto beats this version of Naruto easy, but the thing that a lot of people forget is that the six paths power that Naruto had here is a lot stronger than the version that he had in the when he became an adult in the Boruto era. That's what I meant to say. And that's mostly because I think, if I remember correctly, it was in one of the novels where it was stated that Naruto now only has a small portion of the power that Hagoromo gave him. And I think honestly it was kind of the same thing with Sasuke, because I think Kishimoto did that because he realized that Naruto and Sasuke now are pretty unbroken. If they were allowed to keep the full power that was given to them by Hagoromo well into their adulthood, they would be pretty damn broken, if we're being honest. So I do think he kind of made the right decision by leaving them with a small portion of the power that they were given. Like Sasuke still had the Rinnegan when in the Boruto era. Naruto still has access to Six Paths Sage Mode, albeit a weaker version of the one that he had here. So I don't know. I mean, him being stronger than these two. Again, I want to hear his argument first, because who knows? Maybe he'll make an argument that I don't know.
I don't think that's relevant here.
That I never thought about.
I'm a lot more interested in how strong Kakashi was when he had both Sharingan than I am in anything else. There are probably some fights that you could throw this version of Kakashi into where the time limit would be relevant, but we don't even know how long that time limit is, and the idea with this video is to prove how strong Kakashi is with the power-up before the time limit runs out anyway. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a crack at this. Before we talk about anything else, I want to make sure everyone knows that this power-up did give Kakashi Six Paths power. This isn't just like regular Fourth War Kakashi with an extra
a lot of
Sharingan.
people.
He straight up tells Sakura, and I quote, "Gaining Six Paths power enhances one's ocular powers too."
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people do forget, that this version of this version of Kakashi was enhanced with Six Paths chakra. So, I mean, thinking about that, it does kind of make you wonder if that's the case. Why didn't his Sharingan kind of I guess evolve into Rinnegan? Because the Rinnegan is basically a Sharingan with Six Paths chakra added to it. So, you know what? That's neither here nor there. I feel like if we go into that, it could just make the video a lot longer. So let's just go ahead and move on.
Now, the thing is, Six Paths level is a pretty vague descriptor. It refers to a vast range of different power levels, all the way from Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito up to Kaguya. But fortunately, this version of Kakashi does do quite a bit despite his lack of screen time, so it's pretty easy to deduce how strong he might be based on his performance against Kaguya. One of the most impressive things about him is his speed. He doesn't really seem to have any trouble keeping up with Naruto and Sasuke, and he manages to land multiple clean hits against Kaguya, not to mention he's also shown reacting to multiple attacks from Kaguya, so I think it's safe to say that none of these examples qualify as outliers. Now, his power and durability aren't as easy to quantify.
Zetsu mentions here that Kaguya's speed has increased significantly. Kakashi manages to react in time with Kamui despite a stated speed increase. That's true.
As a matter of fact, doing so might be impossible.
Although I will say that one thing that always did kind of bother me about this is that he was able to react to the one that was aimed at him, but not the actual Susanoo in itself. Because one thing that we've seen the Susanoo do is it can sort of use the ability of the person who's manifesting this the Susanoo. Like, for example, we saw in the battle between Naruto and Sasuke at the Valley of the End, is we saw the Susanoo sort of manifest the Chidori right there in its left hand, just like how Sasuke does, without it. And to me, I wonder, like, why didn't Kakashi just use Kamui to allow those attacks to phase through him, just like how Obito keeps using it to allow attacks to phase through him, and he just let the Susanoo get hit and basically get destroyed. Now, you could say that maybe it was part of his plan to use it as a distraction to hit Kaguya with the Kamui Lightning Blade. But personally, I don't know. I mean, to me, it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems a little iffy, if I'm being honest.
We only really have one statement to go off of, and even then...
Hold on, these adaptations would not be swag. Zetsu is shocked that Kakashi was able to phase through the attack. Keep in mind, Zetsu knows exactly how Kamui works.
And it's questionable. Naruto calls Kakashi's Susanoo more awesome than Sasuke's, which could mean that its armor is more durable and its punches hit harder, but it...
Well, I mean, it could, but also it could be Naruto just being Naruto. Just him. Part of me feels like he was saying this just to spite Sasuke, because they do have that kind of a relationship where, sometimes you just say things because it pisses off, your friend. I don't know. Yes, I mean, it could. I'm not saying it can't. And then again, remember, Naruto at this point does have an understanding of all things chakra, so maybe he does see in Sasuke's, or excuse me, Kakashi's Susanoo that he didn't see with Sasuke's. I mean, who knows? Maybe, maybe.
It could also mean that Naruto just thinks it looks cooler or has
Yeah, see, there you go.
abilities. It's impossible to infer anything meaningful from this without
Yeah.
making assumptions, and like I said, this is really all we have, but that's okay because, in my opinion, his power and durability are irrelevant. For the purposes of determining the outcome of any fights involving this version of Kakashi, all that really matters is his speed. Now, that might sound weird at first, but the thing is, Kakashi can use Kamui, both versions of it in fact. As I've said many times in the past, Kamui is super duper overpowered. You can make a pretty strong case for it being the best offensive jutsu in the series and the best defensive jutsu in the series. Like, you can't hit a Kamui user, and you can't block Kamui either. As long as he and his opponent are relative in speed, Kakashi can...
Unless, see, the only one that Kamui does, the only person that Kamui didn't affect was Obito, but that's only because he had Kamui too, so he could negate it. And it's, I mean, yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Kamui is pretty broken.
Dodge any attacks they throw at him, and can ignore their durability by combining Kamui with other attacks. Something worth mentioning at this point is that when Kakashi used Kamui against Kaguya, it was the best we'd ever seen it. First of all, according to Madara, using both eyes together doubles the speed of the jutsu, which is a little crazy because it's not like Obito ever had any trouble using Kamui reactively. So this means that the window Kakashi has to react to incoming attacks is doubled. It also means that if Kakashi uses Kamui the same way he did against Deidara, or the same way Obito attempted to against Minato, his opponent should only have half as much time to react. Reason number 2 why Kamui was better than ever here is because Kakashi showed that he could use it in all sorts of new and unique ways. For example, his Susanoo had Shuriken that teleported anything they cut through into the Kamui dimension. He could combine the power of Kamui with the Raikiri for a similar effect, and when using Kamui the same way he had throughout most of Shippuden, he was able to teleport away one of Kaguya's dimensional portals. Not sure how he did it,
yeah,
but it definitely happened. So when it comes to this version of Kakashi, we're talking about somebody who the rules don't really apply to. He's got everything that made Obito so crazy, in addition to the version of Kamui that we normally associate with Kakashi, and he can cast Kamui twice as fast, and he has 6 paths powers, and he has extra Kamui abilities. So for those who are still wondering, yes, I do think he's stronger than Naruto and Sasuke. Stronger insofar as he could beat both of them in a fight, and could probably beat anyone that they could beat in a fight. Stronger is a bit of a weird word to use.
Yeah, again, like what exactly do you mean when you say stronger?
We don't know how durable he is or what his attack potency is. But what I'm getting at is...
when it comes to attack potency, I do think Naruto still has him beat because he does have the tailed beast chakra, and that does make someone... oh boy, that does make someone pretty overpowered. When it comes to... I mean, see, the thing is, a lot of people might take that statement and be a little pissed, like, wait, stronger than Naruto Sasuke. Again, you gotta remember, in the Naruto universe, it's not the same as, say, Dragon Ball or Bleach, okay? It's not the point where you have the most chakra, or you have the most ki, or you have the most reishi. None of that stuff matters. In the Naruto universe, sometimes the thing that determines a fight is your strategy. Remember, Kakashi is a genius when it comes to fight. Now, I think it's been kind of proven that Sasuke is on a different level than even Kakashi, which is insane because Kakashi was already pretty touted as being a pretty big prodigy by a lot of people. So, again, I do feel like that you could make the case. Again, it's an interesting debate to have, but. Again, it would depend. Based on everything he said, yes, the Kamui does make him pretty damn tough to beat. Because even if Naruto could throw all the tailed beast bombs he wants at him, if Kakashi could just phase through him, it wouldn't matter. He could just pull himself into the Kamui dimension, pull himself out of it next to Naruto, and then just stab him. Although Naruto would be a little bit difficult because he has, 6-path Sage Mode, and that does give him some pretty strong sensory capability, so he might be able to react to the attack. But I don't know if you can say the same for Sasuke, because even though Sasuke is pretty damn quick, I do think he has pretty quick reaction time. Again, I do think it's a very interesting debate to have. especially because he does have a lot of hacks abilities, uh, just like what Swag just said in this video.
That this Kakashi has the tools necessary to beat just about anyone else in the series. The only person who I feel
which is probably a good thing that Kishimoto kind of took it away from him, because if he kept it, and as we know, in the Boruto era, Kakashi is stronger than he was in the war arc pre-dual Mangekyo Sharingan. I don't know if he've ever reached the level of being as strong as he was with the dual Mangekyo Sharingan, but he has gotten stronger. It's been stated by a lot of people that he has gotten stronger. And if he had kept the Mangekyo Sharingan, including the six paths chakra that he got from Obito, I mean, it would put him up there. I don't know if it would make him as strong as Naruto and Sasuke, because they are pretty insane in the Boruto era, but it would have made him a very, very tough opponent to beat. Also, is it just me, or does it? Why does Naruto's thumb look a little bit weird in this panel? I don't know what the hell happened. It looks like it's dislocated. What the hell's going on here?
Comfortable saying Kakashi would lose to in a one-on-one is Kaguya, because she could teleport him to another dimension that he wouldn't be able to return to the real world from. Despite how well he performed in the fight against her, it did still seem like he was relying on Naruto and Sasuke to seal her. And no, by the way, that does not mean that they were more powerful than him, it's just that they were the only ones who could use Six Paths Chibaku Tensei to seal her. It's sort of like how KCM2 Naruto was more powerful than...
You know, speaking of the whole six paths Chibaku Tensei, which apparently is strong enough to seal an Otsutsuki, it does make me wonder why Hagoromo Otsutsuki kind of took that ability away from them. Because if Hagoromo knows about Kaguya, then there is a chance he also knew about the other Otsutsuki, isn't it? And if that's the case, wouldn't he have wanted Naruto and Sasuke to keep that ability, just in case other members of the Otsutsuki were to show up and they could just use that ability to seal them away? I don't know. I mean, again, granted, you could say that it's because Kishimoto never planned for there to be other Otsutsukis, you know, after Kaguya, which, my God, I wish he would have stayed with that instead of continuing with the... But that's neither here nor there.
War arc Kakashi, but Kakashi needed to be there in the fight against Obito because they couldn't do any damage to Obito without him. The fact that Kakashi's presence was necessary at the time isn't indicative of him being stronger than Naruto, only it's like the reverse case here in the Kaguya situation. Another character who might...
Again, a lot of people underestimate Kakashi's value in the war arc, but remember, Naruto, who you could say was a hell of a lot stronger than this version of Kakashi, at least when it comes to in certain aspects. But you gotta remember, if Kakashi was not there, I don't think they would have beaten Obito, because Kamui did make him pretty damn tough to beat. And if Kakashi wasn't there with Kamui to counteract, you know, Obito's own Kamui, it's just... I personally, I don't see how Naruto or Guy could have won if Kakashi wasn't there, if I'm being honest. Like, he was that pivotal to the fight.
It's like the reverse case here in the Kaguya situation. Another character who might be able to beat Kakashi up is Hagoromo. Sticking strictly to manga canon, we don't really know what he's capable of. So he might have all sorts of crazy, wacky abilities that make Kamui useless, or...
Yeah, that's the thing about Hagoromo, is that I think we talked about it in... Seth did a video that we reacted to, which is how strong is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, and we do have a pretty good idea based on feats that are stated in the manga. But the thing is, it's kind of difficult because we never actually see them. I mean, you know, unlike let's say Sasuke, Hagoromo does have two Rinegans, which it is stated that both eyes, if you have the Sharingan or the Mangekyo or the Rinnegan in both eyes, it does make you vastly stronger than if you only had one. Now, some people have made the argument that Sasuke has the power of both Rinnegans in one, which is what makes his special. I don't know if I necessarily buy that. I think the only reason why he only has one Rinnegan is because he only received half of Hagoromo's chakra, so only one of his eyes evolved into a Rinnegan. Maybe if he received the full power of Hagoromo, maybe it would have evolved both of his eyes into the Rinnegan. But that's a debate for another time, because again, look at Madara. He recreated the Hagoromo's chakra by combining the chakras of Indra and Ashura into him, and then both of his eyes awakened into Rinnegan. And I don't know. I mean, again, it's kind of unclear with that. I think it's safe to say that the only reason why one of his eyes evolved is because he only received half of Hagoromo's chakra as opposed to the whole thing. And yeah, because of that, the thing is, a lot of us don't really know just how strong he is. We know he was strong enough to seal away the Ten Tails, although granted he did have Hamura's help. And honestly, I don't think they ever made it clear what this thing on his forehead actually is. I don't think it's a Rinne Sharingan, the same one that Kaguya has. Again, we don't know what this is. It's never really made clear. Yeah, again, this just goes into what I think I've said in previous videos about the Naruto series, that Kishimoto does leave a lot of things up in the air when it comes to the world and certain characters and just how strong they are, and certain things that are in his universe that aren't really properly explained, which does kind of suck. But that's neither here nor there.
Or he might just be fast enough to make Kamui a non-issue. I'm not really sure. Six Paths Madara is also a bit of a weird matchup because I don't think Kakashi has any way to detect the Limbo clones, and he also doesn't have any durability feats, so if he gets hit by one of them, he might just die immediately. But if we assume he activates the Susanoo as soon as the fight begins, then he should be able to take care of Madara with a couple Kamui Shuriken. I know that Kakashi's actual body is significantly faster than Madara, since he was able to blitz Kaguya after Zetsu mentioned her speed increased significantly. And while I personally believe that his Susanoo should be able to move,
taking out Madara with the Kamui Shuriken, I don't know. I mean, I think Madara would be fast enough to react to them. Although that would depend. I mean, Kaguya didn't react to them. Although you could say that maybe it's because Kaguya was, I don't know, being a little overconfident, so she didn't really think much of it, and that ended up biting her in the ass, which we've seen happen multiple times in the series, where characters usually get overconfident, and it always ends up working against them. So, I mean, again, I don't disagree. I mean, he was able to speed blitz Kaguya, so yeah, that is a pretty impressive feat. And remember, Kaguya is stated to be stronger than Madara. Remember that.
similar to that of his actual body. I can think of a few ways to play devil's advocate with that, but even considering that, I do think that there's enough evidence to suggest that Kakashi Susanoo should at least be faster than Madara. When she was in her weird rabbit Biju blob mode, Kaguya's tentacles were fast enough that Naruto thought he should warn Sasuke about them. It's clear that he considered them a threat, and Kakashi was able to cut through them with his Kamui Shuriken, and you could say to that maybe Kaguya didn't have the awareness necessary to perceive incoming threats, since she had turned into a feral blob monster.
Yeah.
But right after Naruto commented on the speed of the tentacles, Kakashi did swoop in with his Susanoo to save Sakura from one of them. So I think you can safely and definitively say that both in and out of his Susanoo, Kakashi is faster than Madara. It's a weird fight, and one that I'd be happy to elaborate on in its own video if you guys are interested. But in short, I think Kakashi would win, though there are a handful of different ways that you could argue Madara would take it. Setting aside his inability to perceive the Limbo clones, I think that Kakashi is definitely more dangerous than Madara, and would probably have a much easier time beating Naruto and Sasuke than Madara did. Given his speed, his ability to ignore any attacks thrown at him, and the fact that he can one-shot anybody with Kamui, I feel pretty confident saying that Kakashi is, aside from Kaguya and arguably Hagoromo, the strongest character in the entire series. That said, if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments or on Twitter. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think that there's an interesting discussion to be had here, so I genuinely look forward to hearing from some of you. Now, real quick, before I get out of here, today's video is sponsored by Loot Crate, and I'm gonna be honest, I'll be a little bit surprised if most of you haven't heard of Loot Crate already. They've been around for quite a while, sponsoring creators like me for years, though I imagine what you guys are probably more interested in is what actually comes inside of a Loot Crate. So the idea with these things is...
so the rest of it I think is just a sponsorship, for which I do follow the link, because you definitely want to support Swag, and of course all of the creators that we watch here on this channel. Support them by checking out the companies that sponsor them. Look at the code, follow the link in the description. Just find any way to support them, or just go watch their video, and of course leave a like on their video if you liked it, or dislike, or comment. Just interact with it in any way in order to help the video with the algorithm. So that's the video, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that is the video. Now again, I do think there is a very, very interesting discussion to be had. Now I do think that Kakashi with both Sharingan in that moment is pretty damn strong, and I think a lot of people do underestimate just how strong he actually is. Now whether or not he's stronger than dual Rinnegan Six Paths Madara, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, or Kaguya, I think is a very interesting debate. I don't think anyone believes that he can take on like Jigen or Ishiki. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, no. I personally don't think that could happen, if I'm being honest. But when it comes to the statement of being stronger than Six Paths Sage Mode Naruto, Rinnegan Sasuke, now keep in mind this is the fourth grade Ninja War Arc version of them. The adult version of both of those characters, personally, I don't think so. I think that those two have proven that they are even stronger than Kaguya, and I personally think that Kaguya at the time was pretty damn strong. I don't think that Kakashi would have beaten her on his own, if I'm being honest. Now, him being stronger than those versions of Naruto and Sasuke, I do think is a very interesting debate to have, because remember, Naruto and Sasuke in that version were not stronger than Kaguya. I think it was made pretty damn obvious. Remember, they said I think a lot of people agree that they weren't even stronger than Madara, and Kaguya was stated to be a lot stronger than even Madara. And she was stated to be even stronger than she was originally before she got sealed. So, yeah, I mean, if Kakashi could fight her, then, yeah, I would say he could fight Naruto and Sasuke. Now, whether or not he would win, I think is a very interesting debate to have. And if you have your own thoughts, just let me know about it in the comment section down below. Remember, like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. You don't need me to tell you. And I hope to see you guys soon. Bye for now.